All right, welcome back, guys. This is going to be episode 2 today, and today we're going to be taking a look at integrating VMware virtual machines into GNS3. We'll also be setting up Windows Server that'll be an Active Directory domain controller. It'll serve as a DNS server. Probably have that same guy do DHCP. If you're looking for instructions step by step on the system administration side or server administration side to get that all set up, I have a small Windows System Administrator series playlist. I'll have that pop up on the screen here as an info card. Feel free to check that out before proceeding with this. All right, guys, without further ado, let's jump right in. Okay, guys, I've cleaned up the topology by removing the VPCs since we're going to be adding some actual virtual machines here. To do so, just right-click each one of your VPCs and select Delete, and that'll take them out of the topology. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to jump into VMware Workstation. If you guys are using Player, there is a way to do it. It's a little easier in Workstation. If you need a demonstration for Player, let me know. I'll do my best to accommodate. So let's jump over to Workstation, go to Edit, Virtual Network Editor, and then you got to click Change Settings so you can have administrative privileges here. It'll take a second to load. Once it loads, you should see something like this. What we're going to do is we're going to add some additional adapters here. So add one for every VM that you want to run. So I'll start with just a couple. So I'll add a network, VMnet 2. And then we're going to turn off DHCP. Then we're going to add another one, VMnet 3. Keep them host only and turn off DHCP. And hit OK. That'll save it. That'll run through its starting of services and things like that. Okay, that's complete. Now jump back to GNS3. Edit, Preferences, VMware. We're going to go to VMs. We're going to add a new one. Pick your VM from the drop down. In my case, I'm going to add a Windows 10 that I have. We're going to edit. We're going to go to Network, and we're going to check the box to allow GNS3 to override non-custom VMware adapter. Okay. Let's do another one. I'm going to add my server 2019. I'm going to edit, network, allow GNS3 to override non-custom VMware adapter. Okay. Apply that, hit OK. You'll now see on the left-hand screen under all devices, or in the left pane, you can add these VMs. So let's get this guy added. Bring him down here. He'll be on the user side, and this will be the server side or the infrastructure. Now that we have him added here, you can go ahead and power him on. If they're already running, you'll just get an error that the machine's already running. If not, it will fire it up in VMware for you. So we'll wait a second while these fire up. Sorry about that, guys. I added the wrong server. I'm going to delete this guy. And then we'll go into Preferences, VMs, and we'll remove this guy. And I want to add DC01. Forgot I had two separate VMs that were running server. This is going to be our domain controller. Finish that. Edit, network, check the box. OK, good to go. And we'll add in DC01 up here. He's already running. If not, you would just power him on. So we can go ahead and click the button Start, and it'll say the VM's already running. That's fine. Alright, guys, so now we're going to want to get these guys connected. Let's go ahead and Connect Ethernet 0 to switch port 1. And if you need to figure out what VLAN that is, you can simply go here. And you can look at your ports. Port 1 is on VLAN 20. And then we'll connect this guy. We're going to put him on port 2, which I believe is VLAN 10, but we'll verify. Is VLAN 10. Alright guys. So now that we have them physically connected, we need to go into the VMs themselves. So I'll start with the Windows 10 VM. You're going to want to specify the adapter. So in GNS3 we put this guy on VNet 2, VMnet 2. So let's go to settings. Let's go to the network adapter. We're going to drop this down under custom and we're going to select VMnet 2. Okay. Now that we're on that adapter, go ahead and log in. We'll let this get logged in. And since we don't have DHCP set up just yet, we'll use a static IP for the time being, just to verify connectivity. So your static IP would need to be within the VLAN that you've connected this guy to. So in our case, we've connected the Windows 10 machine to this switch on port 1, I believe. Yes, which is on VLAN 20. So let's go ahead and make note of that here, guys. It's good to have notes on the screen so we don't have to do any guessing. So I'll duplicate that as a shortcut, and then I'll change the text here to say VLAN 20. And we can put another name up here. We'll probably do that later. I like to also add the IP address for the device. So let's go ahead and duplicate this again. And since he's on VLAN 20, he's got to start with 10.20.10, and let's just give him an address of .20. Alright, now we know the VM, and we know the IP, and we know the VLAN, and that's all on the screen. Let's see if our machine is booted up. Looks like it has. I've been doing some other stuff on here. You can ignore that. You don't need FileZilla. Okay, now that we've configured our network adapter through Edit Settings, let's configure the OS side of that adapter. Change adapter settings. Again, guys, if you need any system administration tutorials, I have a whole playlist on that. So feel free to give that a watch. I'll make a display card pop up here for you. You go to Properties on the adapter, IPv4, Properties, and this guy is already configured. I did it ahead of time, but you would just change your information here. We should have connectivity at this point. We're just going to verify and make sure this is all connected. Yes. Looks good. I'm sorry, that was not set up correctly. Let's double check our work here, guys. I had it configured, but it looks like this was actually configured for a different VLAN. So let's go back into Properties. Yes. So that was 1030. We need to get them on 1020. And for now, once we have a domain controller up, we'll give it that for DNS. But right now, let's just use Google's public. Easy enough. Give this a second. Close that, identifying. And we will open a command prompt here while we're waiting. Okay. ipconfig. See if we can ping our gateway. Let's give this a second, guys. I think we may need to do something on the GNS3 side. It still sees it as down, so let's take a look at that. It says it's stopped. Okay, so we need to start this. Okay guys, I think what we're going to have to do is shut the VMs down in VMware. It's only the second time I've done this, so we're learning together here, guys, but it's pretty self-explanatory, I believe. So we'll power them off in VMware, and then we'll power them on from GNS3. Let's go ahead and power them off in VMware. I apologize for that little delay there, guys. So let's go ahead. We can do that multiple ways from the OS, or we can do it here. Shut down guest. Shut down guest. Let's wait for these to power down. Okay, we see that both of those VMs are powered off. So let's try that again here, guys. We're going to power up all devices. And that should start. Yes, there we go. So now GNS3 initiated the power on through VMware. So it calls into VMware and says start up these machines. And now we see green connectivity. There we go. Simple mistake. We have to power on the VMs from GNS3. That's all. Okay. We'll give these a second to fully boot up and we'll get logged back into the Windows 10 VM and we'll start from there. Okay guys, we are powered back on and logged in. Let's take a look at the Windows 10 machine again. Should have kept our IP configuration settings. Let's just double check. If you spell it right. Okay, so we do have the same address that we've noted in GNS3. Let's see if we can ping our gateway this time. I bet we can. There we go. We're hitting our router. And when I say we're hitting our router, if we look at the topology, this is our default gateway, this interface. I should say this sub interface, right? Looks like we lost some of our notes here, guys, for the sub interfaces of this guy. Give me a second. Let me make sure I get that back on the screen for you guys. Probably got deleted when I was deleting the VPC, so give me 1 second. I'll get those notes back up there. All right, through the power of editing, there they are. Okay, guys, so as I was saying, when I was talking about pinging the default gateway, let's bring this up so we can reference. So this traffic, right, is coming from this PC, it's traversing this link, tag of VLAN 20, and then it's traversing this trunk, and it's destined for 10.20.10.1, which is a sub interface on the physical fast10 link of router 2. So we see that sub interface here, right? So when I ping my default gateway or my router for this PC, it's actually a sub interface on this router. This router then has routes to get to the rest of the network, whether it be back over here or back up here or out to the internet through the NAT cloud, whatever the case may be. This is where this PC or anything on that VLAN needs to start. If it's outside of its subnet, it's going to go to its default gateway, which is that sub interface. Okay guys, Windows 10 is online. Let's get the domain controller or the server 29 VM on the network as well. So let's jump over to VMware. Let's edit settings. I've actually already configured the IP, but we'll walk through it again here. Go to network adapter and make sure you're using that VMnet 2. If not, drop it down and select it. Hit OK. Alright, so let's go ahead and change the IP here. I've already done this, but again, we'll just walk through it. Properties, IPv4, properties, and plug in your IP. So this guy's on VLAN 10, and we know that's the subnet here of 10.10.10. So I gave him 10.10.10.100/24. Gateway is this sub interface, 10.10.10.1. and just using Google's public DNS. Close that out. Let's do a test. Looks good. Let's ping our gateway. That looks good. Let's ping outside. Looks good. Let's ping by name, test our DNS. And that looks good. We may not be able to ping this Windows 10 VM, just depending on the firewall. Let's take a look. Yeah, we can ping them. So we can ping throughout our LAN, we can ping outside, we can ping our gateway, everything looks good. So as we sit right now, guys, we are traversing our GNS3 topology for connectivity of our virtual machines. So we have effectively implemented VMware virtual machines into our GNS3 topology. I'm going to go offline and get this guy promoted to a domain controller, have him serve as a DNS server, probably set up DHCP here. Again, if you guys need that type of tutorial, check out my system administration or my Windows Server administration playlist. I will have that pop up here as an info card for you. That'll get you up to speed on everything you need to get servers up and running and configure the different services and the roles. So features and roles, I should say. So yeah, this wasn't too bad of a video here. We ran into a couple snags, but did some live troubleshooting to figure out what's going on there. So this video covered the implementation of VMware VMs into our GNS3 topology, and it's looking pretty good so far, guys. We've got a nice little topology, a LAN if you will, with internet connectivity and virtual machines. So on the next one, we will set up, or we will join these computers to the domain. Well, one of them will be a domain controller. The Windows 10 will join the domain. It will use the domain controller for DNS, and it will get a DHCP IP address from the domain controller. And for that to work, we're going to have to set up something on the routers called an IP helper so that he can get over to that guy because it's not in the same broadcast domain. But we'll cover a little more of that in the upcoming video, guys. So before we go here, please hit that thumbs up button. If you haven't done so, please subscribe. I know that about 90 to 95% of my views are coming from non-subscribers. So do yourself a favor and do me one while you're at it and hit that sub button. Till the next one, take care, guys. Don't forget to save your configurations and don't forget to save your GNS3 project. All right, see you on the next one.